Hello, I'm Sophie Thompson, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of VirtualSpeech, a multi-award-winning soft skills training platform used by 350,000 learners worldwide. As we've already looked at today, VR training means it's now possible to expose individuals to a wide variety of environments with the simple click of a button. We can now expose learners to environments, social behaviours, people, and conversations that we previously weren't able to. This in turn increases the possibility of meaningful changes in behaviour. But now we know that we can tap into this idea of learning through experience on demand. How do we measure the results? VR training allows for unique data capture that provides systematic, objective, and unique insights into individual learners as well as the collective group. The data points we receive through experiential learning can enhance the learning process by revealing insights into real-world behaviours and identifying gaps in learning and understanding in a quantifiable way. So let's take a look at some of the data and insights that VR training can provide coaches. We can divide these insights into three key categories: spatial, where we can monitor how a learner moves and the learning paths they take, where they spend most of their time in the learning experience, and which environments, objects, and tools are they interacting with. The second category is behavioural analytics. What's the learner focusing on in the experience? How are they interacting with the scene? Are they engaged? What are they doing? And are they making the most of the experience? And finally, performance analytics. So how does the learner score on assessments in VR? What is their progress over time? And what can we infer from collective assessments about the training experience? As with other VR solution providers, at VirtualSpeech, we've created a number of different tools to provide insights into learners' behaviours so that we can accurately measure how effective a VR training experience is and what the ROI looks like. The first of these is speech analysis. I'm going to use the example of our VR public speaking training to illustrate each of the analytical tools below. So the speech analysis provides real-time feedback to accelerate the learning experience and instantly identify areas that need improvement. For example, a learner can practice their presentation skills in a range of VR environments, varying from one-on-one meetings to performing in front of an audience of hundreds of people. When the learner has finished speaking, they are instantly provided with AI-powered feedback on their dialogue, which includes aspects of their speaking, like their use of hesitation words, pace, volume, tone, listenability, and how the audience is likely to have perceived them. For example, the software can tell someone if their sales pitch has come across as persuasive or aggressive, or whether their speech was engaging and energetic or low energy and boring. This analysis can be saved and tracked for every learning exercise, quiz, and dialogue completed in VR. Now, we all know that communication isn't just about what we say or how we say it, but also how we deliver the message with our body language too. And VR can provide feedback on that as well. Here's an example of an eye contact heat map used by clients such as Vodafone and Deutsche Telekom to analyse a learner's understanding of spreading their gaze across different areas of a room. Eye contact is critical for strong communication skills in every area of life. But before VR, there was no way of measuring eye contact in a quantifiable way. And so we didn't have the data for tracking progress and how this would translate into real-world behaviour change and connection. Learners' body language can also be measured in VR based on things like their hand gestures, which can be tracked with the VR controllers and help make up an overall score for communication skills like empathy, active listening, storytelling, and persuasion. So where does all this data go? Most VR providers will bring all this data together for you in an admin dashboard, so you can see progress over time and some of the more spatial and behavioural analytics that I mentioned at the start too. At VirtualSpeech, for example, both the learner and the coach or manager can track individual progress to help identify areas of improvement and subsequent learning pathways. In addition to this, the admin can see the time spent in VR, which VR environments they spent the most time in, and an individual's overall score each time they went into VR. This helps to learn more about the individual's learning journey and their personal progression across various skill sets. It's on the admin dashboard where the learner can also choose to send the coach or manager an in-app recording of their performance too. whether that be the audio of a presentation or sales pitch, or a video of them carrying out a branched learning scenario. A coach can provide tailored personal feedback to learners to complement the objective AI feedback they've already received in VR. In VR, learners can also practice together in the same virtual space, even if they are geographically hundreds of miles apart. By doing so, they receive an additional layer of feedback and analysis from their peers. When you combine the AI feedback, the coach feedback, and this peer-reviewed feedback, this provides an unparalleled feedback loop for soft skills training. This three-factor analysis enables learners to recognize areas of strength and areas that they perhaps need to improve upon, and thus accelerate their learning. We're now going to take a look at some of the benefits of this VR analytics. So the first is that the individual learner can track their progress in a quantifiable way, which really helps to motivate them whilst they're on their learning journey. The second is that admins, managers, and coaches can receive quantitative feedback on soft skills learning experiences, enabling them to measure the effectiveness of a training experience, quantify return on investment, and have realistic data points for real-world behaviour change. And the third is that AI analysis can be used alongside subjective feedback provided by colleagues or coaches to provide a more reliable picture of someone's performance, skills, and lasting behaviours. Whenever we talk about data, I think it's important to consider the ethical implications of what we're tracking and consider what data we actually need to enhance an experience or to track ROI. At VirtualSpeech, for example, we're quite conscious around the privacy of individual users. So as an example, individual user data can be anonymised. When we worked with one of the big 4 accountancy firms, learners were assigned as user 1, user 2, and user 3, and so on, instead of having their email addresses linked to their account. So neither us or the client had personally identifiable information about any of the learners. The client could still receive feedback and measure progress of the group before and after a learning experience and quantify the effectiveness and ROI, but recognising the journey of individual learners wasn't important to them, so we simply removed that ability. Another consideration we're often asked about with VR analytics is whether there is bias in the AI. We, and I'm sure other solution providers, build our system to avoid this as much as possible. But we also recommend not to use AI feedback to pit students against each other or use the performance score data for employee performance reviews, for example. Everyone's journey is different, and progress for one person doesn't necessarily look the same as someone else's. And I'm a big believer that we should use AI as a method and a guide, but not forget the humans that it's analysing and their needs. So in summary, one of the most unique things about VR training is the wealth of data and analysis that's available compared to solely traditional methods of learning. With the data generated from VR, insights into the effectiveness of soft skills training are made both accessible and actionable. VR offers unprecedented opportunities for analytics for both the learner themselves as well as coaches. Learners can use the analytics to track their progress in a quantitative way and identify areas of strength and weaknesses, and coaches or managers can use these data points to measure the effectiveness of soft skills training, learning understanding and progress, and track ROI of the learning experience. If you have any questions or would like to continue the conversation around VR training, experiential learning and analytics, I'm more than happy to during the summit today, or you can email me at this address. Thank you.